greatest rapper of all time, if you say like Jay-Z,
Yeah.
I don't know, dog. It's something about
Are we gonna hit? We gonna hit. What's up? I'm saying this. I had to say what introduces me. The first is a given. Jay-Z is the greatest rapper ever. And then if I had to mention Michael Jackson and Prince, we want to get to that debate and leave Stevie out or leave Marvin Gaye out and Usher out when it comes to R&B. Then I'm gonna just swap what I'm talking about and say Michael Jackson is what I believe Prince is, because Prince, for me, as far as creating something, writing it, producing it, all of that, he did all that. But let's get back to what you're saying. I'm gonna pass the hosting back over to you. How long I did? 2 minutes?
Nah,
2
you
minutes,
good.
22 seconds?
Wait, man, listen, we ain't no real
Boom.
time.
What you, whoa. Well, go back to that greatest rapper thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, I got another top tier guest. I mean, I'm pretty much going through all of USC, and I'm pretty sure everybody that views this, watches this, they gonna know who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? Monumental. I mean, he's put together like what he does. Like, you'll never forget what he does. Like how he brings people together, how he can control a room. He's an instrumental part to if you have gatherings, weddings. Like, it's a huge deal for this guy. You'll never forget. You know what I mean? But let me introduce who you got. All right. So we got Bryant Kirk White, age 32, career job. He's executive director, A.Bevy, the School of Self-Awareness, CEO and lead DJ, OMTBH Wedding House, content director, A.Bevy Studio. He went to University of South Carolina. Focus is entrepreneurship, marketing, and management, plus SCAD. TV and film production, focus, sound, and production. Years in the profession, he has 13 years. So this guy has a lot of game, a lot of knowledge, over a decade of just mistakes. But also some tremendous successes. I'm pretty sure, you don't be in this game as long as you have without any type of mistakes or learning from, just past experiences, right? But, man, B. White, say what's up to the podcast.
100%, man. I'm appreciative. I'm grateful. That's like my word for the second part of you. I'm grateful for being here. It's great to be able to speak. It's great to be able to talk. It's great to be able to connect. So, big boss time.
Yeah, it's already time, man. But listen, it would be the show if we didn't get into our two truths and a lie, all right? So I need to get 3 good statements from you, and let me hear what you got.
Let me check the phone because I wrote these down. Right?
Oh, my
so
man.
I'm like, if I got to step up, right, and I got to be here, and it got to represent me, and it got to represent what we talking about.
Yep.
How can I set the stage? Two truths and a lie, my brother. I'm gonna be the host real quick. I need you to be able to tell me which one is a lie.
Okay.
I'm a truthful person now. I try to be. I didn't used to be back in the day. But right now, I'm a truthful person. I'm married.
Right now.
Look, let's hit them. Number 1, Jay-Z is the best rapper ever. Not alive, but ever.
Okay.
Number 2, Michael Jackson is the greatest artist ever. A lot of evers we hitting.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And last but not least, Prince is the greatest musician ever. Period. Jay-Z is the best rapper ever. Michael Jackson is the greatest artist ever. Prince is the greatest musician ever. Bro, which one is a lie, my brother?
Bro, these are like all not even factuals. These are your personal preferences. So I can't even say which one is lie. Which one? I'm just going to play along. But even though I know this is all just statements that you believe, you know what I'm saying? I just think that you believe.
2 truths and a lie. These are my truths.
Right.
Which one am I lying about?
All right. Which one are you lying about? Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is the best rapper ever.
Okay.
Michael Jackson is the greatest artist ever. Prince is the greatest musician ever.
I'm going to say that last one. As far as like musicians ever, Prince, I mean, I don't know, man. There's some good musicians out there, man. I don't think. I mean, you put them over Stevie Wonder, you put them over, you know what I'm saying, Ray Charles, you put them over like it's so many great people, and even guitarists. Like, I mean, I know Prince might played a little bit of the guitar, but even guitars, there's so many. I'm gonna say that's the lie, man. I believe.
I'm gonna let you know. I got let you know. Prince played multiple instruments.
Okay, he played. He played most of the instruments. Okay,
Prince played a lot of instruments, but I also want to let you know that you are right. That's right.
okay,
Prince is the greatest musician ever.
is the lie.
Is incorrect. Big shout out to Stevie Wonder. You shout out Stevie Wonder is lit.
Yeah.
The second was Michael Jackson is the greatest artist ever. For me, my truth's in a lie. Prince is the greatest artist ever as far as creating something, putting something together. Musicians, I don't even know who I go greatest musician, but I wouldn't go Prince or Michael.
Okay.
Michael is like the greatest, like Michael. What was Michael like? Greatest icon ever? Like
I would say greatest performer.
Greatest performer.
Like he's one of the greatest performers. I mean, to me,
one of the great.
To me, like I just
Beyonce
feel like
tapping on that dough.
A lot of people, yeah, Beyonce is definitely in that category as well. Like I believe it's like 1A, 1B. Like I don't think either one is above.
Because of different times.
Yeah, different times, and I think they both put on like I said, great shows. I've never seen a Beyonce show, but based off the Netflix, you know what I'm saying, like the everything that I had to sit through and watch with my wife. I could tell like it's a great performance. And I think Michael did the same. Greatest rapper of all time, if you say like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I don't know, dog. It's something about
Are we gonna hit what's up? I'm saying this. I had to say what introduces me. The first is a given. Jay-Z is the greatest rapper ever. And then if I had to mention Michael Jackson and Prince, we want to get to that debate and leave Stevie out or leave Marvin Gaye out and Usher out when it comes to R&B. And I'm going to just swap what I'm talking about and say Michael Jackson is what I believe Prince is. Because Prince, for me, as far as creating something, writing it, producing it, all of that, he did all that. But let's get back to what you're saying. I'm going to pass the hosting back over to you. How long I did? 2 minutes?
Nah,
2 minutes, 22 seconds?
Wait, man, listen, we ain't no real
Boom.
time.
Well, go back to that greatest rapper thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just, it's something about, I think, your era. You know what I mean? Like, I think you probably grew up heavy Jay-Z. And I can understand why people will say he's the greatest rapper. Like, the verse he just did on God Did is probably one of the coldest verses I ever heard, you know, in my life. To be able to carry a song, got it at, it's 8 minutes long. He got it with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left and carried it all the way to the end. And you listen. You know what I'm saying? And you listen. I just don't think he's the greatest ever. That's all.
What makes a great rapper to you? Like top 3 things or top 2, whatever you got.
I think the lyrics always got to hit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you get in the game for. Like, you listening to the lyrics. I think being, you know, a mogul as far as like touching different genres of people, like different ethnicities. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see. And then also you gotta have like moments stamped in time. Like, I think Jay-Z got moments. I just don't think you can't say he took over a whole decade. You know what I mean? Like,
you a Drake fan? You a Drake fan?
I think I'm a fan of both, but I think Drake is a better.
I did your wedding. We good, so it's cool. Well, so then we looking at
what's your qualifications? Like, why you consider Jay-Z the greatest?
Because now we comparing to Drake. So if I just say Jay-Z, if we got to compare Jay-Z to Drake, then I'm just gonna say the longevity. Okay. I'm just gonna say the longevity, and that's gonna win every argument, every discussion. It's not an argument.
But you can't really. I mean, that's unfair because you can't. It's like saying MJ to LeBron. Like, you can't control when they both came into the game. But if you think about the accolades and all that, I think musically, we're not talking about business wise, because we all know Jay-Z's a heck of a businessman. His accolades, you know what I'm saying? But let's talk about his accolades in general as far as in the music.
So that go back to what you were saying. You said bars, like impact, the fact you can touch multiple areas.
Yeah.
Pause. And then what's the third one you said?
I think I just said the bars, impact, and just, you know, just relevance. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go into, you don't go into a club and they say, all
right, so boom, you good. I mean to cut you off, but I did.
Yeah.
Bars is irrelevant. Bars is out because Jay-Z has better bars than Drake, and relevance is out because of longevity. So now you got impact, and I got to give it to Drake. So even then, it's 1 to 2 on your scale. That's it.
Man, you crazy.
And then we can debate the bars, and then we spend this whole Big Boss Talk episode talking about bars.
We ain't gonna do it.
I do it. I would do it.
I respect your opinion. I'm in a group chat I'm pretty sure you know Tranisha and Denzel Milton.
Oh yeah,
Denzel's,
they old. They old.
but Denzel's a huge Jay Z fan, and that's one of the things that we kind of clash on because I think it's just his era. Like I'm gonna honestly say I don't think I was raised up listening to Jay Z. Like I was raised up on Outkast. You know what I'm saying? Big Boy. Like all those
Yeah.
guys. Like some of the older, just because riding around my pops, he had thrown the Outkast cameo. Like very much an old head at heart, but not really Jay Z. So I think it's what you was
Yeah.
raised around, how you feel about it. But I would never,
I feel that.
I also believe Jay Z is one of the greatest rappers ever, just based off what he just did. He proved everything that need to be said. But again, I
Yeah.
never go into a club, an event, and say, "Hey, I need to hear that Jay Z." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
as far
I
as like,
feel that. I 100% feel that, man. I grew up. One thing we can look at it this way. I grew up in the South as we did,
yeah,
and I grew up with a young lady who lived across the street from me. It was my babysitter. Big shout out to my big sister Andrea.
mm-hmm.
Instead of putting me on Cash Money and No Limit, she put me on Rockefeller. She put me on Rough Riders,
Yeah,
98, 99. And so I was introduced to New York, New York, New York. Like,
for
and that was
sure.
my full introduction to music. So I've had plenty of friends growing up who were full No Limit fans, who were full Cash Money fans. And I got onto that later.
Yeah,
Even what you talking about as far as Outkast. I didn't get on the Outkast until Speaker Box Love Below. Clearly, I
okay,
knew like Stank On Your stuff, but as
yeah,
far as getting into it, I missed out on South stuff being from the South. Crazy, but
for sure.
that's what it was. So I do have that edge. So I understand what you're saying. I do.
For sure, man. We just agree to disagree, and I appreciate your honesty as far as like just being transparent on the show. And so I do want to ask you a couple of questions, right? So what's one of your most memorable and proudest moments in life so far to this day? I think I would know the answer, but just let me know.
I got a couple. I mean, my daughter's a given.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Making a commitment to my wife is a given. Well, for me,
Yeah,
because I didn't grow up around a lot of men where that was a given.
yeah,
Um, but I'll say as far as internally, in 2014, I was in grad school and I decided to do a collegiate tour. I decided to take a brand that I created with A.Bevy and go speak about my life at 20 colleges across the East Coast. From, I think, furthest north we went was Howard. Further south we went was the U in Miami. And so I created like a 45 to an hour spiel that I went and I just talked about my life. And in doing that, it was called a Why Are You Alive tour in 2014 via A.Bevy, the School of Self-Awareness. I just told my story. And I think that I say that's proud because that was the first time I realized I could work on me.
yeah,
It made me feel like I had things that I had to work on. But on the flip, it also connected with so many people that it told me that I had things that I had solved. It told me that I had things that I could help people with. And then the third level, it had a level of the fact that these people connected with it. They could then assist me in where I'm going even further.
yeah,
And that main further statement was that A.Bevy is a real thing. This introspective journey is a real thing. Us being able to talk about it, have these conversations as you do, is extremely valuable. So
yeah,
doing that Why Are You Alive tour in 2014, I say that's up there
yeah.
outside of this production of life that we also blessed with in the game.
That's what's up, man. I didn't even know that. As far as like, I learn something new every time I talk to somebody. But being able to take that tour, just be able to walk in front of so many people and be, vulnerable enough to kind of tell
Mm-hmm.
your story and kind of, speak, kind of what's on your heart. Like I know that's nervous, sometimes because you don't know how people gonna receive it. What's the, initial response gonna be because obviously you want people to respond a certain way, right? And I will want to ask, like, what was your mindset, when you was talking to these different colleges and going on this tour? What was your preparation? Like, what was your mind frame as far as like, what if the crowd wasn't as responsive as might have wanted
Yeah.
it? Like, how was what was your preparation on saying like, I'm gonna bounce back and I'm gonna just tell my story anyway? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, my mindset was like to a point of life is short.
Mm.
I think that's the point because at then I'm 22, 23, growing up, it's cliche, but you don't think you're gonna live to 25. And a lot of that is based off of in various places of poverty is based off of like murder or um, uh, dealings with the police as far as going to jail or just your life ending in that form of process. But overall, for me, it was the lack of vision of what life looks like after 22, 23, 24, 25. And so by 23, I was putting together a tour where I just wanted to talk about everything that was happening. And so my prep was like, this is it. Like, what's left for me? What am I gonna do next? I had no idea. I graduated college, and we can get into my wife. We just talked about earlier today. Like, even our first breakup, our first major breakup, was because I didn't knew a source of it. Rather, was I didn't know what I was gonna do after graduating. My self awareness was low, and so I decided to go to grad school. SCAD was extremely beneficial to me. But while I was there, I was thinking the answers, like something has to be in what I've been through, because I had been through enough and learned enough and was confident enough in myself, at least, that this story that I have means something, even if I didn't know what it meant. But once I got on that tour and telling my story, I realized we all have value in what we've been through. The answer to where we need to go, the answer and where we can be, the answer to who we are lies in where we've been.
Yeah.
So that was my drive, whether it was 4 people in the crowd, shout out to South Carolina State, 300, 400 people in the crowd. Like it was go time. And I was like, let me put these slides up and let me tell y'all a story. No holds barred.
I love it, man. I think at the end of the day, like when I talk to people, I find out that we all have a common issue / problem, and it always and I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say majority, but some people are just given with that discernment to know like this is what I'm here to do. Like some of them just got the what I'm saying. I look at people like LeBron, like what I'm saying, like you knew, what I'm saying, like one of the greatest role models ever. Like you know what you put on this earth to do. You know what I'm saying, like. Use basketball as the vehicle, and then you take that and then you disperse it everywhere else to help other people. But it's a lot of people that don't have like that 100% it factor. So it's like we wandering trying to figure out what's next, and it always usually comes either after high school or after graduation. And it's like, dang, okay, I done worked this hard. I'm in school. Now I got to figure out what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I think that tour that you had, like, you were already up on game early. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm learning from you because of your wisdom and your knowledge that you already have. So just being able to learn from you and really peep game as far as like it's people that has walked this path before us that can really show us some of the roads to not travel on, or just be able to help you find that right path to be like there's something more beyond the age of 25. So I appreciate that. My last question is what's the best piece of advice someone has given you?
The best piece of advice off the top, if I had to go back, a young lady named Chelsea Allen, in the time when we were producing shows, we were producing what we call a concept show called Fashion Defined. And even outside of that, the work we did together, we had goals that didn't fit a blueprint that others presented to us. And so I presented like a level of stress to her, like a level of insecurity, a level of doubt. And she told me, she said, Brian, think about what you've done in the past, the things you've wanted, and what's your success rate. And I started, like right now, I'm smiling.
Yeah, because it's high.
I was like, if I really wanted it, it was 100%.
Yeah.
You found a way. You made a way. You figured it out. And I'll say that advice, her saying, Brian, what was your success rate? Anything you've ever wanted in the past, you found a way to get it.
Yeah.
And so it's more so in that an affirmation, which was, I think, his advice.
Yep.
An affirmation from someone in real life. So shout out to Chelsea Allen. I'd say that was the biggest one.
That's dope, man. I think everybody should take that, Jim, and just write it down. Like, what's your success rate? You know what I'm saying? When you really think about everything you wanted, it's not. I don't think it's not a lot of things that people can say like, oh, I really wanted this and I didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like,
if you were passionate about it, if you really wanted something, because you know the journey that goes through that. But if in the past, if you really wanted something, what percentage did you not get it? If you really wanted it, because then you can break down. Because at some point, if you didn't want it, it don't matter.
Right.
But if it mattered, you got it. So right now, she looking at me like, I know this matters to you, so I'm not worried. You can stress all you want, and I'm here to support you. But I know we getting it done. I know it's happening, and I'm just letting you know, affirming to you that it's going to happen.
Dang, that's solid piece of info. I'm gonna take that, put it in my notes because I love that one. Okay, so cool, man. Let's get into it, man. We're gonna start back with young B White, man. So obviously you do a plethora of things, and we're gonna try to get into a little bit of everything that you've been able to tap into. But what did you at your younger age? What did you see yourself being like? But just with dreams, any type of that you had at a younger age, maybe elementary, middle school, high school. Like, what did you see yourself as?
I think elementary, I can ask my mama, but I think elementary, I was like heavy in Legos, heavy in construction, heavy in extra layered comprehension. So if I'm not mistaken, my first goal was to be an astronaut in NASA. It was to work in NASA.
That's dope.
I don't even know if it was to be an astronaut, but it was definitely NASA. It was some level of positioning where my thought process could think more further than this is what you're supposed to do at work. And then you compare it to having a job where you get to decide what the future of your work looks like. And I think NASA, I'm going to say, definitely be an astronaut. If I can pull out some elementary papers, I'm pretty sure, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm pretty sure it said be an astronaut.
Yeah.
I don't care who it was. Shoot, I fly for, what's my man's name? I fly for Elon Musk. Like, whatever. I just want to go to space. Because you can't go to space and just sit there. You got to know some stuff when you up there. So,
man, you got to know everything. I follow this astronaut because I want to get an astronaut on a real astronaut. So I follow this young lady. And you go on their pages, like just type in astronauts and you follow their page. Like the stuff they do in outer space, the calculations, the mathematics. Like I'm like, bro, like I lose my mind. Like y'all just some of the smartest people on Earth just be able to navigate through space and really train your body. So that's hard. Okay, so you brought up being an astronaut younger. Where in life did that change? Because we talk about your message is when you did that tour, right? And even my message on the podcast is like, how do we pivot? You know what I'm saying? How do I show that everybody is similar? The issues are similar. They may just look a little different, but when you get to the root cause, it's similar. Meaning, I might have wanted to did something, I changed my mind, and now I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I really don't know. So when did it change for you? Like I don't want to be an astronaut no more. What changed along the way?
Definitely, I say if I could off the top, I think of three major changes. The second two combat like that first one. So I'll say the second one is what you asking. It changed when I got outside. Like I started being outside. with friends and experiencing things and making connections and feeling what love is from not just a relationship of or opposite sex or that standpoint in general. It was more so like building connections with people that mean something. And I think the pinpoint of that was, which may be weird to a lot of younger folks now, but the climax, the imminent point of that was being in church. So being in church, my mama, she did a lot in church, and when it came to praise dance and miming, I was introduced to like being able to produce music, being able to provide music. So I say provide music, which is really producing music.
Yeah.
So it got to a point mid 2000s, late 2000s, to where churches now have sound booths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when it comes, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to praise dance and when it comes to songs being played during church, like gospel songs, or cutting up those songs, like we want this song, we want this Kirk Franklin song to come in. We just want this chorus and this verse. Being able to find that and cut it up and make it happen. I was introduced to that. And so when I say being outside, it was the idea of, okay, if you have a talent that can connect to people you know, people that you love, people who have similarities in their goals, such as people in church. All right, we want to have a good church service. I need to make sure on this CD I got these 3 songs for church. And at that, I mean, if you ask when I became a DJ, you ask when music became something that I saw a larger vision in, that's when it was. And that changed the whole thing. Like, I can't go to space and do that. I go
Yeah.
to space, I'm up there dolo, like working for somebody I ain't grow up with. I ain't
Right.
working with the homies. I ain't working with people like, you know what I'm saying? So music changed that.
So I guess what I'm hearing is as far as I watched the interview, Ty Tribbett, if you could believe it or not, was on the
Mhm.
85 South Show, the podcast, and he kind of had a similar story. You know what I'm saying? Him and his brother, you know what I'm saying? They got in the church, and it was like, man, it's so much like obviously music's gonna connect. It's the language of all people, but to be able to take a concept of church music and give it that bounce, give it
Mm,
that sticky icky, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's something about like when you know what I'm saying, certain beats, certain instruments
yeah.
that'll get you moving. You be like, I didn't even know this could sound like that. And it seems like you had the
Back.
same experience as far as like getting in the church, knowing that music, the connectivity, bringing the vibes, to church because that's an important piece too. To that what connects us all, like if you're a believer or not. But that's hard. So that changed us, and then going into we'll skip high school, but just going into college, how did you see yourself, or how did you get yourself into USC? Like, was USC like your top choice of college, top college of choice, or did you have
Mhm.
other different schools?
Yeah, I think my top choice, if I remember correctly, was Duke University. USC was my second choice. My third choice, just in case, was Presbyterian College. So starting with PC, Presbyterian College in Clinton, South Carolina, which is also in Lawrence County, which is where I grew up.
Yep.
Probably like I say like 10 minutes from where I grew up. I was in a program called Champs, a summer program. Big shout out to Champs, big shout out to German DeSasa for creating that program. It was a summer camp that changed my life. And they offered a full ride to a Champs member every year. So if as long
Mm-hmm.
as you had to apply to the school, then you could, get consideration for that full ride. So I
Yep.
made sure I applied there. But that wasn't really a choice because it was at home.
Got it.
Big shout out, but it wasn't like this is where I want to go. And just saying that, like I really wasn't thinking about college because my vision was so short,
Mm.
just given the times and how we grew up. But if I had to go to college, being is it brag like top 10 of my class,
Yeah.
being
Talk your
having
talk.
the grades, being able to go wherever. My thing was like I want to go to Duke. If I gotta go somewhere, my mama telling me I go to college. It's not an option. I gotta go somewhere. I want to go to Duke because Lou Alding is there. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying? You know what I'm
God.
saying? I want to go to Duke. Chris Duhon. If we go back,
Yeah.
Sheldon Williams, he dropped the ball on Candace Parker, but still, it's like I knew like as far as looking at Duke, the basketball introduced me to Duke.
Okay.
And so I'm researching Duke. My mama took me up there to tour it and all. So I applied. They told me no. They told me straight up, nah, bro, you ain't coming. It ain't happening. You ain't getting accepted. I don't know what I
How
did
you feel
wrong, but
about
it's
that?
cool. I mean, as of now, I've come up with 100 reasons to why it don't matter. But
Of course.
then I'm pretty sure I got accepted by USC before Duke. But I think it was a quick transition of how much does USC cost and how much does Duke cost because we
Okay.
talking 2007, 2008, this 2008. So Duke overall, like if you're looking at 4 years, even back then, it's like a quarter million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Expensive.
And again, going back to that church thing, if I go to Duke, I'm far away from home. I'm around people who I
Okay.
may not know, which perspective is dope. I'm not knocking varied perspectives, but and me coming out of Lawrence going to Duke, ain't no telling what I would end up doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like USC was a great middle point for that. USC was a great um, planning spot for me. My mother went to USC in the '80s, and my sister was at USC at the time that I applied and ended up going. And as far as international business compared to something that might have been pre-law or something that would have been real deep in them Duke forces,
Yeah.
Duke got a lot of force in them, man. I just would try to go to the basketball games and end up being depressed. But USC had all that in the city. That's one reason I look at Clemson. I don't want to go too deep, but I'm looking at USC is different because it's different where I came from.
Yeah.
And so it introduced me to a lot. I felt like it was welcome in various aspects. It was similar in various aspects. And they had black in the color. So I'm lit then.
That's
It's
hard.
go time.
So I mean,
Big
I
game
asked
call.
that question as far as like your routine on how you got to where you go because it's a lot of kids right now, either in
Mhm.
college now or they coming up, senior year. They got some big decisions to make, whether they want to go, whether they don't want to go, what
Yeah.
school is a good fit for them. And I think when you hear everybody's explanation on why they went to a certain school, sometimes it boils down to the same situation, like whether they didn't get into their
Hmm.
first choice or the money. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about the money part.
The money real.
The money is real when you're coming out and you graduate. You want to make sure that whatever you go to school for is going to accommodate, that debt that's going to hit you at the end. That's something that they don't tell. They
Yeah.
kind of tell you about, but they don't tell you how big of a deal it really is. And so we appreciate that letting us know about your track to get to USC. But you've done a lot, made a big stamp in USC. Kind of give us like what's one of your best college moments, what I'm saying, within USC? Because I know you gave me one of your most memorable moments, as far as the college
Hmm.
run, but talk about, just being in college for those 4 years. Like, what's some of those things that you're proud of to this day?
Man, man, I can go off the top, man. Just to run a list before I describe any. I say hanging with the same friends all 4.5 years. That was dope.
Yeah.
Uh, Being able to study abroad. If you want to plug studying abroad, I want to
Mm.
plug that 100,000%.
Where'd you go?
I went to Jönköping, Sweden, which is where I even started A.Bevy. I say that was up there. That might have been what I should have ended with, really, because that changed my whole trajectory of where I am today as far as creating A.Bevy.
So how did
Um,
how did that even work? So like how did going to Sweden start A.Bevy?
Man, going to Sweden started A.Bevy because I think what's the start point? I didn't like USC. And that's why those friends matter. Those four friends matter. What we call the dream team. I'm sure other groups of five call themselves the dream team, but we stuck it out, man. We still stick it out to this day. Um, Triple A showed love. That was another thing I was gonna say. Triple A bringing the cookout to Green Street. I was there the first time it got to Green Street.
Yeah.
Now like Hip Hop Wednesday, all that happened on Green Street. That was another thing I was gonna say. Um, my journey of becoming Greek, it's a widespread conversation, but that was something I was gonna say. But as far as going to Sweden via USC and starting A.Bevy, I did not like USC my freshman year. I was not comfortable where what it was because I was comfortable where I was from.
Mm-hmm.
I was comfortable with who I was, not who I could become.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew, okay, I have to find a space where I'm comfortable, and I wasn't cool with being uncomfortable. So I decided if I want to leave this place where it doesn't make sense, what's my option? My mom gonna let me drop out, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna study abroad. I then went to Sweden. At the time, my grandfather had cancer. My grandfather is the only man I grew up looking to. Growing up in a single parent household, my mother, my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather was the man, big Superman, Ozell Kirk.
Yeah.
Um, and so he began to uh, he began to lead to his outgoing while I was in Sweden. And so he passed. I was able to come home. I was able to be home for those 2 weeks, go to the funeral, and in those moments, like it just shook my life.
Mm.
I had never experienced like a moment of I don't even know the
Something that
word, bro.
close. You know what I'm saying? Like
You know what I'm saying?
that.
Something that close and
Yeah.
that's something to just take away from you.
Yeah.
Like life in general, being this beautiful thing that I had experienced, and I was so confident, high self esteem,
Yeah.
so proud, so Jay Z ish,
Yeah.
so Drake ish. I was like, that's who I felt. Like I grew
Yeah.
up like, we figure this out. We
Yeah.
do whatever. We get to what we want to get to.
Right.
And so once I was like, but life also has that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to Sweden and I just questioned life. I was like, what is life truly about? What does this life mean? I found myself in a state of depression, and I can consider probably my first time even looking back saying that I was depressed. I stopped going to class. I started drinking because you could drink at 18 there. So I'm using my funds to do this and that, and then I'm staying in my room. I'm not entertaining my classmates, my hallmates, as we stayed on the hall together. I'm just reading books. I'm just watching movies. I'm listening to music. And I came to a point where I'm asking God, what is this life thing about? And the response that I got was life isn't about what we have while we're here, but more so about what we have when we're gone. And so in that moment, I could correlate to my grandfather. Big shout out, he right here. He everywhere around here. So that's my grandfather right
Shout
there.
out to Grandpa,
That's my
man.
grandfather, my mother right there.
Yeah.
And so it was everything he did, whether he was fussing, whether he was lit, whether he was chilling, whether he was cool, whether he was imparting wisdom, all of that, it was about this is what I left. It's not about that I can't buy you the next PlayStation. It ain't about that I can't buy you shoes no more, the new games. It ain't about any of that. It's about what I gave you for you to take to the next level.
Yeah.
And that stripped the Black Panther away of all the what they say, you know what I'm saying? It stripped me away of that selfishness that I did that life is about me. It stripped me away of like it's about personal gain. And it was like, well, what am I doing that I could leave to my friends, to these four guys, or to the people I'm around, or to the people I'm DJing for? So I started an organization to speak to that compassion, to speak to that empathy, to speak to those experiences that we go through in life, no matter the change, how bad it is. Us experiencing loss for the first time, how can that change lead us to progress and grow as a person and make a bigger impact in life, whether it be just for our kids, for our friends, for ourselves, or for the whole world? How can we change that mindset of life is all about me to life is about something bigger than myself? And that's where A.Bevy came in. I knew I wanted to come back to USC with an organization where we could do events, provide scholarships, and have a talk about that. And that's what A.Bevy is.
Dang, that's
Cool stuff.
cool. I mean, I was jotting notes, man, while you was talking, and you hit on a lot of amazing parts. I do want to just speak on as far as like the change of perspective. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you young and kind of naive a little bit to life, you do have this sense of aura of like, you can't be touched almost. Like life's good,
Yeah.
everything's good. But then when you run into some real life situations or real spill like losing, you know what I'm saying? Like you see the other flip side
Yep.
of life when somebody you know what I'm saying, was full of life one day and then an hour later,
Gone.
could be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. They're not coming back.
Yep.
That's a realism, that is hard to kind of deal with. But your perspective on how you kind of came out of it's not about what you do. When you said it's more or less like what you leave behind. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what did you leave behind to help others take it to the next step? I think
Exactly.
that was that's one of the realest things I ever heard, because I've never heard. I hear about people leaving about legacy, right? And legacy, but it's always talked about in a monetary tone. But what resources
Yeah.
has been left behind? Like when you talk about A.Bevy, like this is an organization that's doing scholarships. This is an organization that's talking people, talking through real life concerns, real life situations that help people move forward. I'm pretty sure there's a tons of people that come up to you in your, when you host these events saying like, man, we appreciate this event. Like it's changed me. It's done this, it's done that. And I think that's probably where you find the most relief from. It's not, you know,
Yeah.
all the accolades or anything like that. It's more or less like, man, we really touching lives out here. And I
Yep.
think that's the footprint that you'll leave behind, and I think that's super dope. But you talked about being uncomfortable. In the beginning, you wasn't comfortable with being uncomfortable. How did you learn how to live in that uncomfortable state? Because we all know that when you uncomfortable, that's when your biggest growth. Where you see your biggest growth. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing something
Yeah.
that you're not used to. How did you learn to be uncomfortable?
Yeah, that was the learning lesson for me when it came to Sweden. That second stint, those last 2.5 months or 2 months rather in Sweden, it was this change has occurred, and that's where the base of A.Bevy comes from. As far as our three pillars: change, progression, and growth. It literally came from that idea. Like prior to my grandfather's passing, it was like you create your comfort. Like yeah, uncomfort can exist, but even the statement that we're talking about, like uncomfort can lead to growth. For me, it meant like you're going to uncomfortable places to know where you should go to be comfortable. And it wasn't until my grandfather passed where I realized that uncomfortable moments were necessary. Like moments of discomfort were necessary. moments of change, moments that shook you were necessary. A quote that I live on and that I harp on at times is the fact that change is something that makes a human. Change is something that makes a living person.
Yeah.
The difference between someone who's living and someone who's dead, or the multiplicity of changes that they go through. So if you literally nothing's changing in your life, then you're already dead. If nothing's changing, if your blood ain't flowing, if your heart ain't beating, if something doesn't change in your eyes, if you ain't moving, then you're already dead. So you take it to the extent of experiencing death, being somewhere that you don't necessarily agree with, finding perspectives that you've never seen before. There only has to be a positive thing that comes from that, because life can't, if you go back to church
Yeah.
or take it out of church, just look at the big God. However, anybody listening
Yeah.
looks at the big God, or looks at a spirit, or looks at a goal between now and death, there has to be something better. So if there's something better, no matter the change, the three pillars are you can progress, not
Yeah.
regress. And in that, you can grow. No matter the change, you progress and you grow. Change, progression, growth. And that's what we live on, man. We push that forward.
That's okay. That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah,
Okay. So man, we
definitely.
talked about we talked about A.Bevy. You gave us a little bit about what you guys do, everything. Like I want to kind of go in as far as like from the ground level. Let's just say there's people out here that want to create groups. They want to create events. They want to do what you do, man. Like on a major scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think kids have these. A lot of people have ideas in their mind that this is what they want to do. They just don't know how. Is there
Mm.
any advice that you could give to anybody that may have an idea of a, of a group or of a business idea that brings people together, that preaches on like certain pillars like change, progression,
Yeah.
and growth? How do they get started? What was the foundation on how you actually get started? The business side, not what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
what things do you have to put in place to for people to take you serious?
Yeah, on the business side, to take you serious, first thing you got to do, and looking in the mirror, as far as talking about that, you have to have a name, a representation of it, a
Mm-hmm.
presentation of it. So you want to look at that and say, what does it mean to me? What is a name? What is a marketable item? What is a brand that fits exactly what I believe in? So you want to dive into the experiences that you've went through, and that's how Bevy came about for me. Dive into the experiences that you've been through and make sure that the name represents the broad vision of what you want to express. So not just the right now, not just the next year, not just even 5 years from now. If you were to be gone in 10 years, and this name is to live on, not even live forever, but live on, what does that representation look like? So with that goal, you want to take a step back and you want to look at your mission. You want to look at, what is this name? What is this entity? What does this organization do?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do we do and how do we do it?
That's
So you want to break that down and say, this is what I want to do for the people, for the world.
yep.
And then this is how I want to do it. I want to create more gaming opportunities by introducing to the youth how you want to do it, is showing them this is how you can make income through gaming. I want to introduce marketing by showing that marketing can be worldwide, not just a small niche in your community. And this is how you make your marketing worldwide, not just for Lawrence County.
Got it.
So as far as your mission, that's pretty broad how I stated it, but as far as your mission, you want to directly know those top two things, what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yep.
All right. If you're talking about an organization or a business too, I believe all businesses should be purpose based.
Yep.
And last but not least, you want to know your target market.
For
You want
sure.
to know your target market of exactly who you want to serve. Who are you producing this content, producing these experiences, producing this service for? And that's extremely important. So when you look at those three things, the name, the branding, then you look at your mission, what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then your target market, all of them go hand in hand. And once you hit all of them on the head, they all connect. And it's pretty hard to break that up. And
Yeah.
if you hit it exactly, aligning with your passion, then it'll last forever. And that's exactly how Bevy has done for me.
That's what's up. I appreciate that going into that deal,
Mhm.
just the background work of how you guys, created it? You know, how did it, you know, just formulate? We understand like we can see the passion behind the idea, and I think you got to have passion before anything because you know there's times where you might not be having the most events or they might not be popping, but at the end of the day, you got to believe in the mission. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing that you are speaking on, you know, as we talk, is the mission, the mission, the
Yeah.
mission, the mission. And then once you have that mission, you can't be stopped because, like she said, you know, when was there a time that you never hit a goal that you really wanted? It's never been a time you got 100% rate. So I mean,
Don't
everything,
work.
you know what I'm saying? It's always gonna work. And I love just going starting from the beginning and coming up to the present moment because I hope, you know, as you listen, I'm pretty sure you listen to yourself all the time, and even when you sit there and talk with your wife and you just look at your life and you start putting the pieces together or things that didn't work out, but then the doors that open, you know, the things that you were doing that you thought this makes no sense, like why am I even doing this, but they now are resources and tools that you use on a day-to-day basis. Like I just hope that's what I like, and that's what I hope people, when they sit down and really talk and just think about the things they've been able to accomplish, like it's amazing that you know the journey, the story that is being written right now, and it's going to continue to be written. But let's get into the you know, let's get into OMTBH Wedding House, man. What's up, man? We know about music. You know what I'm saying? I think listen, we know A.Bevy is huge, man. Like it's a huge thing, man. But I also, what's another thing is you know that you guys do weddings, man, and it's like a family thing. It's not just a youth thing. You know what I'm saying? When y'all did our wedding, I was like, man, I didn't know that was his sister. Like,
Look,
I'm thinking like, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking like, oh, this is some lady that, you know, Maya, you know, the hired, of course, like just to kind of construct the wedding, everything together. And then on wedding day, I'm coming to find out, oh yeah, that's
gang.
you know, that's his sister. I'm like, what?
It's all gang.
That's crazy. Like I say, man, that's P right there. He the
Yeah,
family
now
doing
we
it
all
together.
family.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so how did that start? And then you know, yeah, I just want to know how it started at first.
Yeah, so like I say, looking at music, when you go back to that church aspect, music was the goal for, like, I ain't gonna say the goal. It was the seed for all of this.
Yeah.
My whole life, music is the goal. You mentioned earlier, music is the universal language, man. My mother did events growing up. Us growing up, my mother did events. So she did weddings. She did other events too. She did a lot. She had like companies before like LLC Twitter existed, Pastry Orchids, A&B Desktop Publishing. Like she produced things that help people's events just be better in general.
Yeah.
She definitely did weddings. She definitely did weddings and made sure that people at that point, you know, 90s, 2000s, early 2000s, that weddings were, you know, you all at the church. You get married in the sanctuary, go downstairs, eating stuff.
Yeah.
She made sure it was lit. She made sure it was next level. She did more than that too. I don't want to play my mama, but she did more than that too. And so, me DJing, I've been DJing since 2006. Big shout out to DJ Philly at Club Hush in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I was able to go there like at an early age, get in there, just observe him, turn up at the same time. But I was introduced to a widespread idea of how this music matters.
Okay.
I was selling mixtapes, making mixtapes more. So I had like high school kids coming in, my friends really coming in and talking trash, saying what they want to say, motivational, trash talking, love talk, love letters, all of that on the mixtape. And then we put an 80-minute tape together every month, sometimes twice a month, and sell them around the upstate. And so by the time I got to college, I was doing weddings. Okay. And then when I got to grad school, I realized like the club scene, like sometimes they ain't pay you, sometimes they end late, sometimes you got to go crazy, sometimes they cut your pay.
Yeah.
It was a lot that came into the club scene. So when I got to Savannah, Georgia, like I began to be heavy in weddings. I worked with a company called First City Events that showed me as far as the destination weddings that's hitting Savannah, how to attack those, you know, different cultures, different music sounds, different fields, different traditions. I was hitting everything. And so that showed me like, hold up, as far as this DJing thing, like we can be way more personable. And so just me being that outspoken person who wants to help, like I was DJing, but at the same time I was like, oh, this candle fell, let me pick it up. Oh, this person ain't got no water. Oh, that's what the water is.
Yeah.
Oh, this cake is leaning. Let me tell somebody.
Yeah.
This light is not on no more. What's going on? The people about to come sit down. Y'all know y'all ain't ready yet. The bride's hair is falling out. Like somebody should tell her. And I'm just a DJ doing that.
Yeah.
You know? And so during those times, I was like, I'm basically a DJ and a coordinator, assistant coordinator.
Yep.
And so looking at First City events and how they plan weddings and how they connected with people, me and my sister had a talk, and she always assists. She come to weddings with me, and we just do the same thing. My sister pull up and just start catching stuff that other people aren't catching. No shade to other coordinators, we just catch stuff.
Yeah.
And we was like, man, we can do this ourselves.
No
like, you want to coordinate a wedding? I'll DJ. And you know I got your back. So we was like, at the brand that I had already built as a wedding DJ, let's expand it and offer multiple services. And my sister stepped up as that coordinator that she had been since she was assistant coordinator with my mother. Whether she was a kid or she was a teenager, she had always done that. She had always assisted with events, always assisted with the production of making things happen, which she does now. Yeah. You know, as far as USC with athletics, she makes sure behind the scenes these things gonna happen. Yeah. And so we did the same thing with weddings. It was like, let's change it from just be white DJ to ONTBH weddings. And the ONTBH came from my hashtag when I was doing weddings, Operation Make the Bride Happy. Shout out to any bride, no matter your sex, no matter anything. Operation Make the Bride Happy, Operation Make the Best Happen. That was our goal, man. That's what the ONTBH stands for. And so she stepped in, and now we serve as a full wedding service, wedding planning service. So I want to make sure that everybody is happy, because you can have your services, man. You can do that. But if you ain't got an eye to catch things when they happen, because something's going to go wrong. If anybody's listening, if anybody cuts this, something's going to go wrong with your wedding day, something's going to go wrong with your event, something's going to go wrong with your life. But what you want to do is have people around you who are going to be able to catch something before you catch it, provide comfort, provide a solution. And as we do at OMTBH, we provide happiness. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if nobody show up. I don't care if it's beef. I don't care if the food nasty. I don't care nothing. We gonna make sure we heal it and make sure happiness is the goal. That's my full ONTBH spiel. I don't know what question you got next, but I feel like, look, ONTBH Wedding House. Welcome to the House of Happiness.
Let's go, man. Hey, I'm part of the tree, man. I'm under the OMBT.
ONTBH alumni.
Yeah, alumni. You know what I'm saying? It's some things that definitely went wrong, and shout out to sis. Like, she came through in the clutch and handled it. So we, first time just experience. Like, man, y'all definitely offer like some of the best experiences ever, man. And like you said, I mean, we've come up on the hour, bro, and I think I've had one of the most coolest conversations as far as like your journey and just understanding your mission and understand what you got going on, and also you being able to drop gems along the way for people to understand, like, life gonna throw you some curveballs. It's how you adjust, how you get out of those, comfortable situations and be uncomfortable. How do you change the perspective in life? You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't always happening, to you, is happening for you. You know what I mean? So if you can take that outlook on things and be like, things are going to happen, but it's only for the best, and be able to flip it and change, I think that's going to always be the best. I do have a last DJ question for you, and it's, what's the top 3 songs? Like, what's the song everybody has to play at the wedding? Because, we got the wedding, but it's really all about after the wedding. Like, that's the party. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that little 15 minutes, it is what it is. Like, you going to go up there, do your thing, talk your talk, kiss your bride. All right, cool. But it's the after, you know what I'm saying? It's the after party. Like, what's the top? Somebody it's going to be on repeat every time. Like, what's the song that always has to be played at the reception? Always.
I hit different ages, but I mean, as far as the wide spectrum, if you're talking, an 18-year-old can get married to a 45-year-old can get married. Mm-hmm. Dreams and Nightmares got to be played.
Wow.
Like, it's like a wedding staple now. Like, it's like just an anthem. It just is what it is now.
Yeah. It's a discussion saying that the song is almost on the way to get played out. Like it should not be like I don't know if you
Hey, so
believe.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I don't know
I've
if that's
I've
the
also
true thing for you, but
I've also noticed that as far as weddings and the vibe of parties, because now we can get into parties a little bit too. But I know you asked about weddings. You got an R&B vibe to it. You definitely got an R&B vibe to it. So that's when you come into like a because I don't want to timestamp this, but what started was like, can we talk?
yeah,
Saying
yeah.
the Can We Talk sing along happened. And then you had the Fantasia sing along happen. You had the man, I just drew a blank. You know the in the picture in the mirror, get a rush every time. You had that. And then big shout out to Usher, second greatest R&B artist ever.
Yep.
Now superstar, it's like a
Super,
thing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So the idea of singing along the R&B song, so I'd say like a superstar is there now.
Okay.
Weddings, man, a song that has to be played.
You already gave me a couple, so
I'm so advanced, man. I mean, you got to hit your lane. So this for DJs, man.
Yeah.
You still got to hit your soca. You still got to hit your Caribbean. It's like guarantee, like no letting go, never's going nowhere. But I DJ so many different ages, man. I got some 70-year-olds that I got next week. As far as them, I got plenty 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. So, as long as everybody knows it's 2022 right now, you can look at the timestamp. Yep. F and F is song of the year. So you got to play that whether you love your husband or not, which I hope you do.
Yeah.
I hope you do. And we're going to turn up with you. So, as far as guarantees, the guarantees come and go. And that's a whole nother topic we can talk about because if we go back to our time, 2000s, guarantees stuck around for a little bit. And that's why you telling me like dreams and nightmares can go away because that means, man, what is going to stick around? Because there's so much content now. It's so much music now.
I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it should go away. I just heard the statement on Twitter as far as like
it can though.
It can. I mean, it's done as just due. I will say
it
that.
Can.
But that's just a topic on Twitter, and I had to ask you because I know you do a lot.
It can.
DJ.
It can go away. I ain't gonna let up. Yola can go away. Yola ain't gonna let it can go away. Oh, let's do it can go away. Preach by Young Dolph can go away. A lot of Future songs can go away. A lot of Migos songs can go. Like I'm saying, we can go.
You can go.
We can go. But the thing is, the fact something got to replace that, and the fact that so much music coming out, like the idea that there's something that's gonna work for me for years or for multiple summers.
It's hard.
It's getting sticky, man. It's getting sticky.
Sticky. Well, man, listen, B White, man, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got a family, wife, kid. You're a busy man right now. And I just want to again say thank you so much, man. Like I said, the conversation has been eye-opening for me. I always learn something when I'm talking to people, man. I hope you have fun. I hope it was, up to your standards as far as like just being a part of something and just kind of letting your voice be known. I do want to hit you up on the side because I just need some advice about a few things and just kind of want to pick your brain about certain stuff. So, whenever you have time, I definitely want to reach out to you and get with you, man. But I need 2 recommendations. Two. Yeah, 2. You know what I'm saying? 2 people I can sit down with. I know you got way more, and I'll take every recommendation you got because that's how we keep the podcast going. But just for the people listening, we just want to give them 2. And if you want to send me like 5 to 10, that'd be great.
Okay.
But it's up
to you, off the top, let's do 2. Let's do 2 that's not my wife. Let's go Justice Cox. Mr. Justice Cornelius Cox is a principal. He currently serves as a assistant principal at Legacy Charter School within their middle school level. Justice Cox is a guy from Greenville. He is a voice, a spokesperson for the progression of education in every facet, not just in the schools, not just public education, but Justice speaks for us on all those levels. So I say Justice Cox, Mr. Justice Cox. You need me to do the Instagram? I can look it up now.
You can just send it to me.
Just drop it.
Yeah, just drop it.
All right, Mr. Justice Cox. Then I got to go to the hometown. I'm going to go to the hometown because my man just dropped the book. Somebody I grew up with, a tad bit younger than me, but what he represents, what he's been through, his story is his story. Like, it's been a whole lot of ups and downs from all the way to that side, the places people don't want to go,
Yep.
to the places people want to go. So him being free and telling his story and turning up right now, I'm gonna go with my man Sente. He got a different last name going with now, but for Sente Rice is his name.
Okay.
We call him Dip.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Sente. Let me get his name right. I'm gonna put this on record though, because he just dropped a book also.
Okay.
He just dropped a book as far as filled with poetry, and his book is called A Man Molded from Mud. So Vicente Rakey is the name as far as the author. Rakey, Vicente, Vacenta. But I send it to you. But I want people to hear this also coming from Lawrence.
Yep.
So I want to put Lawrence on too. Not put him on because we don't need nobody to put us on. But
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to the home team.
So yeah, shout out to Justice Cox, Sente. I say that. And as far as ladies, women, I say Yacht Solomon. I'll give you 3 of Yacht Solomon. My partner in self-awareness. So Yacht Solomon has the vision, experience, and story. And even more than that when it comes to the grand scope of things that us as minorities and us as a world go through, especially our women, and being able to speak to them. So I gave you 3 off the top right there.
That's hard.
And my wife, they make 4. So yeah, but yeah, them 3 definitely.
Them 3, got it. That's hard. We gonna talk. Just send me the all I need is the Instagram. You can just drop that to me, whether it's on Instagram or send it to my phone, and then just let them know, man. I recommended you to this guy Armand. Super dope. What he got going on, and then we'll do it like that.
This guy, you so humble. He talking about this guy.
Yeah. Because people don't know me yet, man. So it's just I always gotta be like, you know what I'm saying. This guy. Once it get to where we need to be, man. You know, just like I say, following. You know, looking at you, how you brand, how you do things. You know, I always peep game. Like I'm always learning from every and anybody. So you ain't really gotta say much. I look, I observe, and I'm like, okay, cool. I like how they doing that. What can I pick up on it? And that's it, man. So I do want to thank you. You have a good one, bro.
That's our last thing.
What's up?
A loss ain't a loss. It's a lesson. Appreciate the pain. It's a blessing. Jay-Z said that. Just want to put that out there.
Get out of here, man. I'm going to end the episode just like that so you can have it. Go ahead, man. This man is crazy.
Love you, man.
All right, love you, dog, man. Be safe, man.
Amen.